Cue the intro music, it's time for another installment of the Keep an Eye on It, where we showcase exciting and intriguing turn-based titles that are in development. Everything old is new again, and we've got games that are sure to stir up nostalgia this time around. Here is our roundup of games we are putting on our wish list. Let's go!
Introducing the next great legend of wrestling.
For a certain subset of gamers, a pixelated JRPG featuring classic 80s wrestlers would be the best thing that's ever happened. Their dreams are about to come true when Maniacal Studios' WrestleQuest enters the ring this summer. Stepping into the spandex of an up-and-coming wrestle, the player will face the likes of Macho Man, Randy Savage, Andrew the Giant, and Jake the Snake Roberts in high-flying turn-based matches.
Draws a crowd wherever he goes, the rising star that everyone wants to know.
Of course, this is pro wrestling, it won't be enough to just win your matches, the crowd was promised a great main event after all, so you'll need to keep the audience hyped up with show-stopping moves and dramatic reversals. To borrow a catchphrase from Booker T, we can dig it. On Steam.
3! Oh yeah! Grab your tights! It's time for WrestleQuest!
Recently announced for a release next year, Whalefall is the latest title from White Tone Games. It's a story-focused RPG whose tale unfolds through a visual novel, and the game spots two different combat systems. Small-scale skirmishes are fought through traditional JRPG battles, but when armies clash, the player is instead treated to X-based tactical combat. Whalefall promises an origin fantasy world with White Tone's signature hand-drawn art style. Their titles are generally well suited to players who are looking for low-stress games, so we can probably expect the battles to be more relaxed and intuitive than complex and challenging. We'll find out in 2023 when the game launches on Steam. Also support the Kickstarter campaign. Ash of Gods: The Way is a sequel to Ash of Gods: Redemption, taking place 20 years after the events of the first game. An intrigue-heavy story where the player's choice impacts the outcome. The Way brings its combat from the battlefield to the arena. When a rival kingdom circumvents a peace treaty by training new soldiers in the guise of gladiator games, the protagonist is sent to compete in the hopes of slaying dangerous officers before they can become a threat. The Way brings back Redemption's card and grid battles and expertly animated moves. Whether you play the original or not, the latest Ash of Gods title is definitely worth a look. No release date has been announced, but a free demo is currently available on Steam. Ignis Universia: Awakening of the Erudite Empress is a visual novel JRPG centered on the Chosen Sisters, four young ladies destined to save the world. It continues the story of the completely free Ignis Universia Eternal Sisters saga and keeps the same snarky tone. This is a game that knows how ridiculous JRPGs can be and pokes loving fun at the genre. Combat in Ignis Universia is combo driven, so you'll need each of the four sisters to set one another up for success. The more they work together, the more friendship points they'll build up, allowing for more powerful abilities to be unleashed. The release date is listed as coming soon, but in the meantime you can always play the first game and try the demo of Erudite Empress. on Steam.
Peggy 16.
おはよう、リンゴ。おはよう、フィグ。
The sequels to a spin-off of a spin-off, Soul Hackers 2 followed in the footsteps of 1997's Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. Like the other games in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, gameplay revolves around capturing and summoning digital demons to prevent the apocalypse. The game was only just announced in February, so details are scant thus far, but from the trailer we can tell that Soul Hackers 2 is going to be a great looking game full of neon-drenched environments. Luckily, we don't have long to wait, as the game is scheduled to release on all major consoles and Steam on the 26th of August. Who knows, maybe by then we'll have gotten to 100% on Shin Megami Tensei 5. As its name implies, Monochrome RPG is a black and white slapstick adventure through a town inspired by 1920s cartoons. Otto, a shy comedian who once dreamed of making it to vaudeville, just wants to get to work on time, but a series of increasingly absurd circumstances make this mundane task a challenge. The story is full of jokes and puns, and the game's episodic nature means that more mayhem is in store for poor Otto. Monochrome RPG Episode 1 is currently available in Early Access, and a free demo can also be downloaded. According to the devs, Early Access notes, the full version could be coming in the next few months, so if the game interests you, then it could be worth picking up early on Steam and itch.io. Even if you don't know the details of the story, chances are you've heard of Don Quixote de la Mancha, the fictional Spanish nobleman who dreamed of reliving the chivalrous days of a bygone era. In Quest for Glory, players see the story from Don's deluded perspective, engaging in epic battles against giant and sturdy and his windmills to win the hearts of noblewomen as humble as farmers. Fighting the villainous foes that plague Spain uses card-based head-to-head battles, meaning players will have to adapt to an unexpected situation at every turn. The game was even funded by the Spain's Ministry of Culture and Sport. It enters early access on the 31st of March, so saddle your horse and lower your lance for adventure soon on Steam.
Out here in the West, they say the heroes are long dead.
Desperados 3 is great, but it's missing two key elements. For one, it's not a turn-based game. Nobody's perfect as second, there's no sorcery. West 2 solves both those problems. When a train haste goes wrong, outlaw Gene Carter has to pursue the devil himself across the Wild West to recover his stolen soul, leading a band of witches and gunslingers along the way. Whether you are in a deadly shutout on the top of a moving train or a sorcerer's duel at high noon, West 2 offers dynamic environments that force you to adapt your strategy on the fly. The game's bravado system rewards risky moves, and managing your opponent's loyalty is of critical importance between fights. This will definitely be one to check out when it launches later this year on Steam.
Hard West 2.
As Dungeons & Dragons dusts off more classic settings, the digital adaptations of those settings are also returning to see the light of day. Dark Sun, Kreen, Ravenloft, and Forgotten Realms Archives are all classic old-school RPGs, in some of the most iconic settings ever to be ransacked by player carters. If you're a veteran gamer looking to relive the good old days or want to try the games that the middle-aged guy at the card shop keeps going on about, the Gold Box Classics is just available now on Steam. Originally released on the Super Famicom in Japan, Front Mission came west on a PS1 port and is finally getting a proper remake for the Switch. Not only that, the sequel is getting a makeover as well. Set in 2090, the games put tactical mech combat front and center, and the remakes are a perfect entry point for newcomers to the franchise. The game aren't yet available to wishlist on the Switch eShop, but Front Mission First Remake is expected to launch this summer. This episode of the Keep an Eye on It ends here. Let me know what you think about these 10 games in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, share the video and subscribe to the channel, and also consider supporting us through all our pages. Plus, please check out the written article of this video on turnbasedlovers.com. Wish you the best. Ciao!